Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome. It is Wednesday night and it's time to talk music. I am super excited because tonight's going to be a long show. And before you wonder why that makes me excited, it's like, here's the reason why. Um, this is one of the rare occasions that I have a chance to have somebody come on and talk to you live about somebody that does stuff in the music industry, a local talent. I don't even know if I can really call him a musician. I know he plays, and I know we'll get into that in a little bit, but um, he does so much more than just that. And one of the things I'm excited about talking to him about is some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So without giving away everything that I want to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. This is my buddy Damian, and we're going to talk for a while so you can just hang out and listen to us while we talk. And then after Damian and I get done, then I'll go through the rundown of what's going on in local music coming up in the next week or so. So you get the wonderful privilege of getting to hang out with me and my buddy Damian for a little while first, and then we will. And hey, we're already off to a good start. Elizabeth says he's very talented for sure. So uh, there you go. Props, and you're only like a minute and a half into the show. So welcome. This is my buddy Damien, and I've known Damien for a couple of years now. I first met Damien as he was the sound guy for um, the Joe Bateman and the 870 Boys. That's where I first met Damien, and got a chance to talk to him. And it's kind of cool because um, I don't often get a chance to talk. Well, honestly, first of all, you're kind of a rarity because a lot of the bands don't have a dedicated sound guy. They're just kind of, trying to wing it as they go, and they plug stuff in and then walk around and try to listen to it and then go back up there. And Billy Boyle showed up and he says, hi.
What's up? Yeah, it's yeah, you're absolutely right there. On not many people do have that luxury, like you said. It's you get there and you set up your PA and you start playing, and like you said, you walk out there maybe and hear what you can, go back and make the adjustments. But it's yeah, it's nice to be able to have somebody that can just sit out there, because most of the musicians around here, like, well, all of them that I've met, have a really good ear for what the sound should be out at the front of the house, but it's just a little harder to execute that from the backside of a speaker. So, to be able to help local bands out with doing that, yeah, it's great to be able to be a set of ears.
Right. So kind of walk me through um, either for Joe or for anybody else. Walk me through how you would kind of go through. Since this is a place that I've seen you, this is probably the place that's the most familiar to me. If you walked into LA's and you're going to do a show at LA's for Joe, um, walk me through the process. Tell me what goes through your mind and how you approach getting set up for that.
Uh, ooh, yeah, yeah. That's a good one, and LA's a good place to think about it, because that's kind of my home base, I guess, is
Sure.
what I can see. I like you said, I got my start with Joe. Um, I just kind of stumbled backwards into that, and but yeah, LA's is great. I like calling that place home, but really, it starts right here in a little room like this. You know, testing cables and stuff. And make sure all your stuff's going to be okay when you get there. Um, what's up, Chase? And just packing everything up. Heck, the first. I think the biggest aspect being a sound guy is kind of being a moving company. Really is one of the larger aspects of it. Is just making sure you can get it there safely and
Right.
not have any damage to it. So kind of starts with all that. But we'll get loaded up, and we get it there, and my personal approach, there are a couple things that are Joe specific, but those are mostly just instrumentation, what actual inputs we're going to need and whatnot. But basically, I'll take my big, loud house speakers for the audience. I take them in first, get them set where I want, and make sure they have the supply of power. And I get those set the way I want. And then I put out a few more speakers for the musicians to hear their stuff, but they're not important right now. So, but uh, uh, yeah, I get that going, and what I try to do is get some kind of music going through those speakers, something. A song that I'm familiar with, that I have a reference point for. I know how it should sound, so
Mhm.
that I can hear if there's any weird echoes or dead spots in the room, just anything out of the ordinary, you know. Um, and then once I get that going, I'll start bringing in those speakers I was talking about for the stage, for the musicians, uh, and the big console that we use with all those sliders and knobs, it's literally just a series of volume knobs. You're essentially just deciding where you send that volume to with all those little knobs on there. um, so I get that all set up so that they can hear something different, like what you hear on the radio. Someone playing an instrument in that song, they may not want to hear the radio version. They want to hear a little bit more of what they're playing to make sure they're correct. So uh, basically, you're juggling however many of those monitors you have on the stage. You're juggling that many individual mixes plus what you're trying to get to the audience. And so the, there's a lot of knob twiddling and tweedling and all that good stuff, but it's a lot of fun. So I get those all set up, and that's the essential stuff that has to be there. So at that point, we can let the musicians start coming up and setting their instruments and amplifiers and all that stuff up. And that's when I go to putting microphones on guitar cabinets, or on the drums, especially, or some amplifiers have where you can just plug a line directly into it. You don't have to throw a microphone in front of it, which really makes the night a lot easier.
Oh yeah,
I
it's one
find,
less thing you got to worry about breaking.
yeah, it's there's a lot of advantages to that, so I like to see those. But yeah, we start getting all the instruments and everything run to my mixing console, and from there, like I say, I just decide how loud to send it to each individual speaker in the system that I've temporarily built for that night, and uh, hopefully we make everybody in the room happy. And yeah, so mostly you just that's about it. It's a lot of chords. So every time you decide to take a sound to a place, whether it starts from an instrument or whatever, it's just a lot of cables every step in the process. So there's a lot of those to keep up with. So like I mentioned at the beginning, it kind of starts in a little room like this. It's checking all your cables to make sure that you don't have any issues when you get there, which they all still pop up. Yeah, Jake, me too. I like that thing quite a bit. It's on loan for the moment. Someone needed an acoustic, and I wanted to learn how to make some funky sounds. So. But yeah, uh, kind of starts here with that, and it's not that the cables are bad or finicky or anything. They just get plugged and unplugged so many every time you decide to use it. It's getting plugged plugged in and taken apart, and but yeah, it all pretty well starts right here, and uh, then we get it there, set those speakers up, get the musicians amplified, and then typically from there, uh, we'll run through a song or half a song for a sound check. Just once we have everything hot and making noise and all coming together and funneled out to all the different places we want it to go, we we'll run a part of a song or a whole song, and we'll figure out if everybody likes what they're hearing on the stage, and if I like what's happening out front, well, we can call it good and go kick our feet up for a few minutes. But if not, we'll sit there and work it out. And I'm sure there's several people out there that have been unfortunate enough on the nights where I couldn't quite get it figured out in that 3 minute song, and we had to sit and tap and peck on drums and find all those little sounds that your ears just really don't like. Sometimes those take a while to get out of there, and that can be frustrating. But it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it though, and I've been fortunate. Like I say, uh, Joe got me started in it, kind of on accident, and then I've been really fortunate to get to work with a lot of the local guys around since then, doing festivals and working with a band here, working with some other bands here and there. And yeah, it's I love the scene around here. There's so much talent. I don't
Absolutely.
I, I I don't remember the last time I was within say 100 mile radius of my house and saw a bad show, and I think that's saying something. I feel like I've seen enough concerts to know which ones I do and don't enjoy, and I don't think I've ever seen a bad show around here, and it's awesome to get to work with those bands and help those guys out, you know. So
Yeah, Elizabeth popped in again, said, she said, for those of us in the audience are grateful you take the time to work those out before the show for sure. And yeah, I mean, it makes the band sound better. It makes the whole show go better, even though it is sometimes a little uncomfortable when you're going
yeah,
through that practice part.
yeah, and even then, sometimes the gremlins pop up in the middle of the show.
Oh yeah. There's nothing like having a chord go bad in the middle of a
No,
set to make everything go, or, somebody breaking a guitar string or something. So yeah,
oh
anything can happen.
yeah, I don't know if he's watching, but talking about breaking guitar string and Joe, he gets excited. But yeah, it's yeah, on those little feedback frequencies and stuff. Yeah, it's if a show goes really really smoothly and well, like honestly my goal, my biggest uh the thing I'm trying to achieve, or the thing I wish, is that if I go do a show, you don't know that I was ever there involved with the show.
Sure.
That's kind of the highest praise I can get in my head, and it's so I do try to take care of those things, because I find those frequencies and stuff are a lot more important than the volume a lot of times.
Hmm.
People are going to a live show, they expect it's gonna be a little bit loud, because you know at the end of the day, what the biggest reason we reinforce all this sound and do what we do is we're trying to match these right here. we're trying to bring these into a tiny room and just bang the crap out of them. And so you you have to match that and just amplifying it. You get some weird sounds. They'll tolerate the volume pretty well, but you got to get some of those squeaky spots out. I like to call them. They're painful, and
Yeah.
nobody likes that.
Yeah. Nobody likes, fingernails on a chalkboard.
Exactly. That's that's the biggest thing. But that's really once you get all that going, and it sounds like a long process. It's not as bad as maybe I've described it. There are a lot of chords, but it's nothing terrible. And once you get that going, the bus is kind of driving itself, and that's when the fringe benefits kick in on the job, where you get to that's the part where I get to sit back and just be another audience member with everybody else.
Sure. Yeah.
So that part's awesome. So whether I'm working with Joe or I do Local Fest every year down in Jonesboro, and that one's a lot of fun because I'll get to work with like a dozen bands in one weekend, and you know help them all set up, see the different things people are doing, and the different music. That one's good. But uh, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But
Yeah.
but
That happens to me too.
yeah, but it's a lot of fun though. I really enjoy getting to do it.
So one thing, and I can have to honestly say I very much appreciate your sentiment about if nobody realizes that you're there, you feel like you've done a good job. Um, I can very much appreciate that. My daytime job, I work in IT, and it's kind of the same thing.
Yep.
Nobody really thinks about the computers until they quit working. So, and a lot of times people are like, well, what are you doing all day? You're not doing anything. And it's like, no, I'm making sure you don't see me do anything. So,
Exactly. I have a day job similar as well, or I have for the last several years. I'm actually looking at changing career fields a bit, but I'm a plumber in my daily life, so it's in a similar vein there too as well. Like hopefully you just use the water, it goes away, and you don't have to think about it.
so that's funny because I said that, I didn't realize that IT was going to be such a continual learning curve, and that I'm a natural lazy person. So I probably should have been a plumber because, in the last 50 years, I mean, what we went from rigid plastic pipe to flexible plastic pipe, and other than that, water still rolls downhill. And
Pretty much,
uh,
yeah.
you know,
There's not a whole lot that's changed. Yeah, some of the materials gotten lighter, which suits me because it makes me finally physically capable of the job. I've I've said it to the old timers that train me often. Like, man, if it was still cast iron and galvanized pipe and stuff, I probably wouldn't have hacked it. I could
right?
I could thread the galvanized pipe, but well, I've had to take some of that old cast iron out and just I found I'm not as stout a man as some of them must have been.
I get that. Yeah, no
That's
doubt.
but
Um, when I was younger, this is going back to working with sound systems and stuff. I always thought it was really cool. I always liked to watch the guys with playing all the knobs and twisting the things and sliding. I had no idea what they were doing, but it's like, oh, here's this dude who's doing all this stuff, and it looks really cool. Um, but one thing I didn't understand until later is I don't understand what the big deal is. Like, can't you just go in and you figure out where everything goes and you set all the knobs where they're supposed to go, and then when you're done, you just pick the stuff up and you take it to the next place. And well, everything's already set.
uh,
You shouldn't have to do all that again, right? So,
right,
I mean,
yeah,
it's a great theory, but I didn't understand, all of the acoustics and the way that different rooms and shapes and materials. I didn't realize how much that affected all of those little nuances, the things that you can't really pre-plan for that you until you get there and you're listening to the space.
Yeah, that is the constant struggle. With I'm fortunate enough that I got to counting it up the other day, and I think I have mixed music in uh, 43 or 44 separate rooms or outdoors, but just different places. And yeah, it can be drastic, and yeah, the amount of people in a room, just the very temperature of a room will change the sound. It's wild how much just a little bit of heat can suck up bass like a vacuum. It's amazing. But when when you go to these different rooms, like you said, it's sometimes you can wrap your head around and be like, okay, the last one had a soft ceiling and regular sheetrock walls. This one's just all cinder blocks and metal. So this might sound a little, but yeah, it can be drastic how much you have to. Well, like we were talking about earlier, the frequencies, just finding those frequencies that don't sound good and trying to mitigate them in some way. Um, yeah, it's wild which ones will pop up and how drastically you'll have to cut some of them down just to make what you're trying to do tolerable. Uh, it's and I still don't understand. Like I can't look at a room and make any guesses. I still don't understand exactly how and why everything's interacting. I'm still just as ignorant on why. I just know that I have to change it every time.
Well, at least you know which direction to change it, and you can, you know,
Yeah, that's true. And I I really think it was because of a like trial by fire, for lack of a better word. Uh, I met Joe and about we just had like a short 30-second conversation, and yeah, it all of a sudden he was like, I went to a show and he saw me and come up and talk, shoved an iPad in my hand and said, "Hey, do this thing." I was like, dude, I don't know what this is. He was like, this is the volume. Like, just, this is you just change it. Go take this. And then here we are about, 4.5 years later. And I've got to meet and work with a lot of really awesome people since then.
yeah. Brett Sparks says, "Don't you love a repurposed barb tin?"
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, it's, I really enjoy, the just the whole getting to do live sound.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So to slightly change just a little bit, you play too. You're not just a behind the scenes guy, right? You actually do play and perform a little bit too, don't you?
A little bit. I was mentioning Local Fest earlier.
Yeah.
I I do that. I do a 45-minute set there every year, and then there's another festival down in Jonesboro called Oasis Arts and Eats Festival, and I'll do about a 45-minute set there.
Okay.
Uh, and then, yeah, I've played with my friend Josh Holt a few times. Um, just filling in on some rhythm guitar just to kind of help fill the sound up a little bit.
Sure.
But yeah, I've given it a couple honest attempts, but it's not as much my bag. I I enjoy playing, but I'm not as fond of performing. If
Okay.
that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's absolutely that's fair. Um, Yeah, the reason why I brought that up is because you mentioned Local Fest, and last year we were at Local Fest. Jersey was there as one of the vendors, and so I was like, perusing down through the list, and I'm looking at, I know this person, I know them, don't know them, don't know them, don't know them. Wonder who these people are. Hey, wait, Damian? I didn't know he did. So yeah, I saw your name pop up on the list last year, and it surprised me. I was honestly curious. I wish I'd been able to like sneak down and watch you play, but I wasn't able to. But maybe this year I'll get a chance to have a little more free time and be able to do that.
Hey, it'd be awesome to see you. Yeah, it's fun. Like I can see the appeal of it. I'm just personally not quite built for it, I think, but it's like I say, I do enjoy performing, but I think I got comfortable in high school and stuff. Being in the regular band, you've got, well, the at Pocahontas where I graduated, there was 95 other kids in there with me,
Mm-hmm.
and uh Billy, not 100% of the time. We'll just put it that way. uh, but uh, yeah, so getting up there solo and exposed is still a bit mildly terrifying. So I try to limit it, but I also like to do it just I don't know, the people I'm working with have to do it, so I need to I guess I need to know what they're dealing with a little bit to be
Sure.
able to be be helpful.
Yeah. Josh says not the last one.
Yeah, yeah, no, not the. I don't remember if we tried it again, but I did drop one time. It was,
Oops.
yeah, it was a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
I still feel pretty bad about that one.
Well, if you did look, it's if you do everything perfect all the time, it's just not as much fun. It's those uncontrolled, spontaneous moments that no
Yeah,
one's expecting that just make that's where memories are made. So
yeah,
it's not that you didn't, it's not that you missed a guitar, it's that you made a memory.
yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
we go.
Josh.
Well, unfortunately, it was actually Billy's
Oh.
guitar. Love you too, man. Yeah, Joe had his like in the shop or something, and it was a borrowed guitar, and it just habit. He just popped that thing off and tossed it over, and boy, she didn't quite make it, but yeah, it was it was a rough night for me after that.
Well, it happens.
Yeah.
It's all good. Elizabeth says, nice spin, Taint.
Uh,
You're welcome. I can make just about anything sound good.
uh,
Almost. Maybe not, but I can try.
no, Jake. Yeah, that. Well, I think that's only been to one bar. I think it's been to LA's once since. I think it's been to LA's once since I've had it in my hands. It was one of those nights I went and helped Josh out.
Okay.
Played a few chunkas. Matter of fact, I believe that was the last time I saw you in the flesh.
I mean, it could have been. It's been a while since I've seen
Yeah,
you. So.
I believe that was back in February or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I have been. It's been kind of a weird year. I've been busy. I stay busy, but I haven't been. I haven't been DJing as much this year as I have in the last couple of years. So.
Yeah, that's kind of where I've been with the music thing. I stepped back to take a little break at the beginning of last summer, and I still haven't got quite back into the full swing of things yet.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely not. I'm definitely still scaled back quite a bit for sure. So, hey, I'm very sorry, but could you excuse me for about 15, 30 seconds real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, yeah. For those of you that maybe missed it right at the beginning, this is my buddy Damian that I've got here tonight with me. And I've had Jake Lung on here and I've had Joe Bateman on here, and they're talking about, their experiences as a musician and what life is like on the stage, and from looking, from the performer's vantage point out. And Damien is the other half of that. He's the sound guy, and he does most of his work behind the scenes. He's kind of in the Wizard of Oz. He would be the guy behind the curtain. He's the one that you don't necessarily see what he's doing, and you may not even realize some of the things that he's doing. But he's the guy that works there behind the scenes, and he makes those guys on the stage look good. That's his job. Whether or not he's, you hear him or even understand or know that he's there working, he's the guy that works behind the scenes to make everything sound good, make the guys on the stage look good. Josh says Damien is a wizard that makes the magic happen.
Yeah, I think that may be a little generous on both the y'all's parts. But it is really fun to get to work with different musicians around, and mostly working the monitors and stuff, finding out how they hear things, or trying to guess kind of what their preference is versus yours, just seeing how two people react to the same thing in a different way. Like, they'll say, hey, this guitar is not loud enough, and I'll walk over and it's all I can hear, or like, or the other way around or anything, and it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah,
I think that's a lot of it too, is just seeing all the difference in perspective, and especially out in the audience. Sometimes when you get rolling in a show and you do end up having to make a change, I'll get the iPad out and I'll go to make a change, and somebody will see that big screen glared, and you'll have 6 people walk over and tell you that 6 different things are too loud. You'll have 6 different opinions about it, and it doesn't bother me. I just find it fascinating.
sure.
Yeah. So it's pretty neat.
I do my best not to try to offer armchair advice,
Right.
unless it's asked for. If you ask me what I think, I'll tell you. But yeah, I try not to be that. I try not to be the, hey, you're doing it wrong, you need to fix it, do it this way instead. So
Right.
I'm not always successful either. Sometimes I do throw my 2 cents worth in where it's not asked for, but I try. I do try. So
I'm in about the same boat.
So,
well, I appreciate it, Billy. I really do. Heck, I get to see some real talent when I go around working with different people. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping I'll be around at a few more shows though coming up. I'm hoping. I don't want to name drop or get too many rumors out there, but Josh has been fiddling with the idea of a project, and I hope he decides to pull the trigger on it, because I think it would be a fun outfit to listen to or get to work with. I think it'd be fun.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm excited to get more into the swing of it again.
Well, not to put him on the spot or anything, but I do check the Southwind Drive Facebook page about once a week. just to check and see if they've got anything in the pipeline, if they got anything planned. So,
Yeah.
no pressure there, Josh. No, don't want to try to put you on the spot or anything. So, but yeah, I try to keep an eye out just to see if there's anything new popping up. I said, yeah, one of these days I'm going to actually do like a stream where I actually show the process that I go through and the whole list of people and places and events that I check off every week when I get ready for this show. So,
yeah, whenever I'm scrolling through Facebook or anything, I'm like, "Ooh, I'd like to go to that show. Ooh, I'd like to go to that. Ooh," and it's all on the same night, and there's just too much good stuff around here.
If I could win the lottery so I could just do this as a full-time job, I mean, that'd be awesome. So,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But
I mean, I probably wouldn't even have to hit, all 6 numbers on the Powerball. If I could just get 5 of them, I'd probably be okay. I could probably, handle that. But
yeah. Heck, if I could just hit, a decent sized scratcher, I'd be able to do it for a few months.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah. I'm really fortunate though. I truly am. It's I get to do all the stuff all the musicians get to do, but nobody has to know that I'm doing it.
Right.
And so it's really awesome. I'd say the worst part is the end of the night after the show. It just the process in reverse, winding up all the cables and toting the heavy speakers out, and the drive home sometimes is a little rough. being late at night, but the drive home ain't usually too bad. Usually doing it with a smile on your face makes it a little easier.
See, I'd think that the breaking down after the show would be, I'm not going to say harder, but I'm going to say worse than setting up for the show, because at least this is what it's like in my mind, is that you have these 2 conflicting things, because at the end of the night, it's like, all right, I want to get done. I want to get out of here as quick as possible. So you have this urge just to like unplug things and just throw them. Mm-hmm. But if you do that, you're either going to have to take it all apart when you get home, or the next time when you go unpack it for the next show, you're going to be cussing dude from that night.
Yes.
So, so having to fight against yourself to do it right instead of do it fast is probably, I can imagine that'd probably be really tough.
Sometimes the intrusive thoughts win.
Fair.
It's, there's been nights. Actually, it's happened, I think, twice on outdoor shows too, where we just went into panic mode. And yeah, Monday evening when we took the time to sort it out was a nightmare. But yes, you're absolutely right. The taking the time at the end of the night is a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
But really, I think the hardest part for me is when you go in and set up. All your cables are in your nice handy rolls, and so you go plug it into what you need, and you roll it out. You're just setting it down across something. You don't have to deal with anything. Get it plugged in, and then you do it again. At last count, I believe for a Joe Bateman show, we were at I want to say 52 sound cables, all in all, between instruments, amplifiers, monitors, house, all that, and like a buttload of power cords and stuff. So there's a lot of cables,
Oh yeah.
But when you're putting them out, nothing's in the way of just dropping them on the floor, But when you go to roll them back up at the end of the night, you're never gonna roll them back up in the same order or in the exact reverse order that you did. You're pulling cables all over each other. You've just made a huge pot of black spaghetti.
Yeah,
For the
sure.
night. And that I think is my biggest. It's not like a pet peeve. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just yeah. That's the part that makes me the most unhappy. Just how it's amazing how tangled cords can get that just sit still all night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird how that happens.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's other than that, it's not too bad.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers tonight, our audience? And
well, I don't know that I have anything really coming up. Now, next weekend, or not next weekend, next Wednesday is the debut. The guy doesn't know it yet, but I have figured out how to steal an internet show. So I just took it from him, and it's going to be my debut of my interview show next week. So if you want to come check that out, that'd be cool.
All right, I can do that.
No, that's about all I've really got coming down the pipeline. And honestly, as far as setting up a show, I guess that's really about it. I could dive off in the weeds and talk semantics, I guess, for days, but I doubt anyone wants to hear that.
Well, I appreciate you giving us a peek behind the curtain about what goes on behind the scenes, because a lot of people and I'll even me, it's been something that I've had to learn, just as I was involved in it, the things that go on behind the scenes and how much time and effort goes into that, and how much work it is to make it look easy and make it look simple. So I appreciate you giving us a peek into what you do and what goes into that. Thank you very much for coming here and sharing that with us.
Hey, thank you for having me and letting me share it. It's I enjoy talking about it. It's like I say, it's fun to do, and I like nerding out on it and talking shop on it. Like I say, I could start diving off into semantics about microphones and frequencies all day long, but it's that's a little much, I think. But,
yeah,
it's a lot of fun, and basically, I'd say the gist of it is that that 3 hour show you go watch in a bar, the musicians and guys, by the time they play that show, they've probably got about 8 or 9 hours of their time and labor into it, as far as getting ready and taking it down when it's done and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot that goes on for the musicians that people don't see, for sure.
And then everybody wants them to just work for the exposure.
Yeah. I remember I took some of that down to the light company. They didn't.
The
exchange rate was just really poor.
Yeah. Yeah. I said I was willing to do something for exposure one time, and they told me that if I was exposing anything, they were going to call the cops on me. So.
Oh yeah. That can't happen. But yeah, thanks for having me, man. And hey, I look forward to seeing you again next week.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Looking forward to the super villain origin story here. Try to drag it out of you.
Yeah. We'll flip. Yeah. Next week, Damian's going to flip the script, and instead of me being the interviewer, Damian is going to interview me. So I have no idea what questions he has lined up. I don't know what he's got up his sleeve and what he has planned for it. So come back next week. It ought to be interesting. And well, I'm sure we'll have fun with it. So I love these interviews, and I wish I could do this every week. But the other half of this is I like to talk about what's going on in the area and what's going on with local musicians and local venues that host musicians and music festivals and stuff like that. So I'm going to jump into that. If you want to hang around and throw your 2 cents worth in on what's coming up, feel free to do so. If you need to bow out and go take care of stuff, because I do realize it is almost 9:30 at night, then by all means, I understand that too. Whatever works best for you is fine with me. So,
Well, man, I would love to hang out, but like you said, with it being late, I've been trying to not plumb as much lately. I went to work for an aviation service over the weekend,
okay.
actually, and so yeah, I do have to be up pretty early in the morning. I probably do need to bounce, but next week I will stick around for that and make some commentary. If I know the bands, I'll heckle about them.
Okay. Sounds great.
But hey, I really appreciate you having me on, and everybody in the chat. Thank y'all so much.
All right. Thanks for being here, Damian. I'll see you next week.
Be good.
All right. That was Damian. Thanks so much, Damian, for hanging out with me tonight. It was great being able to talk to you. It's super, like I said, I really enjoy the local music scene, and I really believe that this area, like Damian said, is overflowing with an abundance of talent. Honestly, I think there's probably so much talent in this area that if you listen to live music regularly, you probably get a little spoiled to the amount of talent that is available. So, but to all those musicians that are out there, whether you're doing it like, once a month, or you do it once in a while, or just do special events, or, however you do that, my hat is off to you for the amazing work that you do. And honestly, I couldn't do that. I don't, I enjoy this, but I don't think that I could do that. Plus, I'm pretty sure nobody wants to hear me sing. So there is that. And I can't play an instrument to save my life. Although I do have this guitar back here that I was supposed to learn how to play like 10 years ago. And that hasn't happened either. Oh, and since Damian's not here, I'm going to take my headphones off because they kind of make my ears itch. And the only reason I needed to have them on was to hear Damian, because there's nothing else for me to hear. Anyway, so let's jump into some artists and what they've got going on in and around the area coming up in the next couple of weeks. Brewster and Co. Band, May 18th, they're going to be at Stumpy's Backyard Barbecue. I did notice that they don't have anything scheduled for the following week. So Brewster and Co. doesn't have anything for the weekend of the 25th, and I highly suspect that may have something to do, correct me if I'm wrong, but there might be a river or lake involved, because next weekend, May 25th, is the Saturday before Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th. So I suspect that's what's going on. I have no proof. I haven't been told anything, but that's my suspicion. The Eric Edwards Trio has a couple of dates lined up. This Friday, May 17th, they're going to be at Skinny J's in Paragould. And then the following Friday, May 24th, you can catch them at Raps Barren. John Jones has got a full schedule. Friday, he's going to be at Spring River Draft House. Saturday, May 18th, he'll be at Skinny J's in Paragould. May 24th, you can catch him at J-Town Grill. And then May 25th, he'll be at Wilson Cafe. Jake Lung, hey, we were talking about him just a little bit ago. You can catch him 3 times over the course of the next 2 weeks. Jake Lung is going to be at, I guess this is all coming up this weekend, May 16th. He'll be at Forest Roots. That's tomorrow. May 18th, which is Saturday, you can catch him at the Depot Pizzeria. And May 19th, on Sunday, you can catch him at LA Nights. The Jake Lung Band will be at On the Rocks this Friday, May 17th. And then next Friday, you can catch him at Whiskey Ken's Levy Lounge. Jet and the Organization is going to be at Forest Roots this Saturday. And next Saturday, you can catch them at One More Last Chance. Randy Harrington and the Southern Tradition Band will be at the VFW in Cape Girardeau this Friday. And Christian Lee is in town, and since he's not out touring, you can catch him Saturday nights at the Brick House, downtown Jonesboro. Friday, May 17th, and Hunter Creed, and please forgive me if I say this name wrong, Dana Leon Thwaite will be live at the V. Saturday, you'll be able to catch Hunter at the Laredo Smokehouse and Grill. And then the following Saturday, you'll be able to catch him at Stumpy's Barbecue. The Electric Voodoo Explosion is going to be at the Judd Hill Farmers Market in Paragould this Saturday morning. And then the following Saturday morning, May 25th, you can catch them again at the Paragould Farmers Market. Anthony Gardner will be at Cody's on May 18th, this Saturday. Hank Nightshade will be at the Jonesboro VFW next Friday night, May 24th. Is that Friday? Yes, this Friday, you can catch Rooster Blue at the Osceola Heritage Music Festival. They're one of several acts that's going to be going on that weekend. I can show you those. I'll show you the slide for that and give you and tell you about the rest of those acts here in a little bit when we get down into the events part of the presentation. Drive South is going to be at Tio's in Paragould this Friday night, May 17th. This isn't an actual booking, but I just wanted to throw this out there too. Greasy Tree recently released a new music video. So go to the Greasy Tree Facebook page and check out their new music video, I See the Light, and give it a listen and give it a like. Some of the venues that have things going on in and around the area coming up in the next couple of weeks. This weekend is going to be LA's Birthday Bash, LA's Birthday Barbecue Bash, Saturday, May 18th, starting at 5 p.m. They're going to have $7 hamburger and hot dog plates, $2 raffle tickets, chances to win prizes all night long. And they're going to have live music, food, and games when all sorts of going-ons, starting at 5 p.m. and going until up to really close to 2 a.m. This weekend at Skinny J's in Paragould, you've got the Eric Edwards Trio that will be in there on Friday night, May 17th. And Saturday, you can catch John Jones at Skinny J's. This isn't technically a music event either, but I thought I'd throw it in here anyway. Skinny J's in Paragould will be hosting the Howl on Wheels Red Wolves Road Show May 21st. That is next Tuesday, May 21st at Skinny J's in Paragould. And then next Saturday, Joey Evans will be providing musical entertainment for you at Skinny J's. Tomorrow night, May 16th, Judah Hammond and Alan Woolridge will be at Upper Crust Pizza Company. And this is going to be a benefit event. All the tips from that evening will be donated to the United Way of Northeast Arkansas. Now, as a point of clarification, just because I don't want to speak out of turn, I am assuming that when they say all tips will be donated to the United Way, I'm assuming that's all the tips that the musicians bring in for the evening. I don't have any way. I would assume that the case. I'm not going to say that the tips from the servers will be going to the United Way, but maybe check with them just to make sure that my assumptions are correct. So we're talking about that going on this weekend at Upper Crust. And then next weekend, next Friday night, you can catch Tony Spinner at Upper Crust Pizza Company. The Collins Theater has a few things coming up in the next couple of weeks. This Saturday, May 18th, A Time to Dance presents Stories at the Collins Theater. Monday, May 20th is Bluegrass Monday presented by KASU featuring the Edgar Loudermilk Band. Tomorrow night, you can catch Jake Long live at Forest Roots. A few events coming up in and around the area. We mentioned this just a little bit ago in the show. And the 24th Annual Osceola Heritage Music Festival presented by Big River Steel is taking place this Friday and Saturday, May 17th and 18th. Friday, May 17th, Beware the Band will be first up at 6 p.m. Rooster Blue at 7:15. Jason D. Williams will be taking over at 8:30. And Mustache the Band at 10:30. On Saturday, May 18th, the Delta Project will be playing at 4 p.m. Dwayne Burnside at 5:15. Ghost Town Blues Band at 6:30. And Clay Walker will be headlining the show Saturday night at 8:30. There's going to be a Little Miss Music Fest, vendor booths, a kids zone, and food trucks. Tickets are on sale. You can get those at the Osceola Heritage Music Festival.com. And that is this Friday and Saturday, May 17th and 18th. Next Friday, May 24th, Willie Bicker releases his debut album, Broken Telephone. This is going to be the album release is May 24th. There's going to be an album release party. It's going to be about a week later. I'll give you the details about that next week. May 31st and June 1st is the 18th Annual Summer Fun Run Ride for Life, hosted by Pig Trail Harley Davidson. And kicking everything off for some good times on Friday evening will be music by the Shotgun Billies. Looking a little farther forward in time, on July 6th, Red, White, and Blue Concert for a Cause benefiting the Whetstone Boys Ranch will take place at the Pine Meadows venue in Willow Springs, Missouri. There's going to be food trucks, live music, and a fireworks show. Music by Anthony Gardner, Nick Davis, Brady Walton, and more. And you can scan that QR code if you are interested in more information or to buy tickets. The Big Grass Bluegrass Festival will be taking place July 19th and 20th at the Collins Theater. And there are going to be 3 different show times. There will be one Friday, July 19th at 7 p.m. Saturday, the early show is July 20th at 1 p.m. And then the evening show will be Saturday, July 20th at 7 p.m. This is sponsored by KASU, Collins Theater, More Media, and I don't recognize that other logo. It's too small for me to guess what that is. If you would like more details about this, you can find out all the information about this on the Collins Theater Facebook page. And last but not least, just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Joe Bateman. He doesn't have anything, he doesn't have anything musically related. He doesn't have any events that he's playing at or any shows that he's doing coming up right now that I'm aware of. However, I would like to say a special congratulations to him and his lovely wife on the recent birth of their bouncing baby, very healthy baby girl. So congratulations to them on that. And I wish them all the best and hope they have an absolutely great time. And I understand may not see him performing for a little while, but that's okay. Take care of the little one, take care of mom, and take care of the new baby and spend some time with your family. That's always awesome. And once again, congratulations, Joe, on that new addition to your family. That's awesome. And that's what we've got for this week and coming up in the near future in music. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. Like I said, I know this has been a longer show than usual. This one, we're clocking in right at an hour, but I do really appreciate Damian for coming and sitting in with me tonight and talking to me and letting me learn a little bit more about what goes on behind the scenes, and invite you guys to come back again next week where Damian's going to turn the tables and he's going to put me in the hot seat. And he's going to ask the questions and I get to answer them. So I'll admit I'm not used to being there, but, because when I'm asking the questions, I'm kind of in control, right? But yeah, I'm kind of giving up that control, and I'm going to let. And I like I said, I don't know. I have no idea what questions he's going to ask. He hasn't said, and I haven't. I haven't pushed the issue to try to find out. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be fun. I always enjoy getting to talk to Damian. So come back and see us again next week, and check out me in the hot seat. Until then, you guys take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Go find some local music and tell me all about it. And I will see you next time. Good night, everybody.